Oops. Blizzard broke WoW again. That's right. It's patch day. Well, it's not. It's patch week now. We're how long are we in this thing now? About a week. We've been in patch, and things are broken. Things are broken. They continue to be broken. Now Blizzard has fixed a lot of things, a lot of UI issues, stuff like that. Obviously, with the removal of add-ons and the UI integration, there was going to be problems with it, obviously. But Blizzard's patching things in, fixing things. But what things are still broken for many players? Let's see what Bellular has to say.
Any patch is a messy affair, but pre-patches tend to be worse. The shift to a whole expansion's new set of systems just breaks stuff, and there's always something that'll get people up in arms. That's happened again, but I think none of us could have guessed what it would actually be this time. You see, the patch's headline-grabbing catastrophe, in a way, came out of nowhere. It's the Transmog drama. And the worst part of this is that Blizzard could have avoided it so easily. And obviously, that's not the only thing that's went a little funky with this patch.
This is the cost of the transmog thing. So people had an issue with it because you paid for your transmog before this patch went live, and then they made you repay to apply the same transmog again through the new system, and it was pretty upsetting. But Blizzard fixed it. They gave everyone a free one.
We have a lot to talk about, and today it'll be quite a fun one.
I'm jumping the gun on that one.
If our friends at Blizz were a cartoon character, I think they'd be doing the same thing every episode. And that would be stepping on a rake. They just can't help themselves. And this time around, Transmog should have been the easiest win in all of history, but they kind of fumbled it. So, the new Transmog system, I have to say, is actually brilliant, and in the long run, it should actually save you on Transmog costs. They've loosened loads of restrictions. The on-the-fly switching with zone animation is awesome. The auto-swaps under certain conditions, that's all brilliant, but obviously, Blizzard found a rake and kind of went to town on it. So first, they completely wiped transmogs. Every character got reset, so everyone's warband camp kind of looked like a Burning Crusade.
Yeah, you guys remember, the Burning Crusade clown costume. Remember I logged in and I was like, what the hell? What happened to my transmog? Yeah, I don't know what it, maybe because it's a completely new system and it would have been very hard to carry that shit over. But Blizzard could have easily fixed it by just making it your first one is free, which they did now. So now your next transmog, if you already redid your first one, it will be free. But they made you pay to reapply your own transmog.
Fiesta. Then, upon shiny new transmog...
No, I actually reported on this myself. That's what happened.
Window, well, people could spend hundreds of thousands of gold
You've been
on
waiting
outfit slots, which is actually a really good feature, but maybe not the best first impression. Now, the thing that's really got a lot of people, though, is the cost scaling. It is real steep. We start off at 100 gold, but then it shoots up to 35 grand a slot. And here's the thing, right? This new system is actually cheaper in the long run, and the reason why is you pay to transmog once per slot instead of per each bit of gear. So that basically means if you pick up a new bit of gear, you won't have to pay again to transmog that new bit of gear into the outfit that you actually want. Right. So in the long run, that's really good. But obviously the upfront cost is about 2,000 gold for every single level 80, just to basically get your old transmog back because they all ended up being wiped in the move to the new system. That only cost a few grand for most of us, but if you're an altaholic with like 20 level 80 characters,
Jesus Christ, 175,000 gold. What is wrong with this person? That's how much it's going to cost me to reassign just a single transmog that each of my characters were wearing yesterday and already paid. My God, how many alts? Holy crap. Man, it's, yeah, I don't understand this type of gameplay, but people love their alts, I guess.
That's going to stay
for one
just
character.
A little bit. Though thankfully, Blizzard really felt this rake to the face. So, in a hotfix, every character is getting one free transmog and the outfit costs are being cut in half. And that should have actually already happened by the time you're watching this video. Blizzard have also confirmed that the artifact weapon overrides are not working yet, and that's going to be back in patch 12.0.1.
There it is.
And, well, my favorite part of all of this is Blizzard just accepting the blame and doing something really quickly. Overall, I get why this really stung for people. That being said, the new transmog system is vastly superior to the older one, and I'm really happy that we have it. So that's
and Blizzard fixed it. They did a good job. They retroactively went back and said, "Oh, we fucked up. Okay, here's a free one, and here's a 50% reduction for the rest of time."
Covered, but we got to stick with the Sideshow Bob gift because it wasn't just one rake. No, there are many more, and Blizzard stepped on all of them.
Free gear upgrades.
So, if you logged in and you noticed that the Gilded of the Ethereal achievement popped up, well, you wouldn't be alone. That's because a bug with the item level squish gave loads of players credit for maxing out their gear, even including freshly dinged level 80s who absolutely had not maxed out their gear. Now that's a few hundred free Valor Stones just from the Achievement Award, but if you actually try to use those Valor Stones, you then notice that the upgrades seem to be broken.
Oh,
now,
no.
World of Warcraft tracks the highest item level your character has ever equipped, and if that is higher than the item that you're upgrading...
So the level squish caused a few things, a few issues. Another one was, he might say it, the enchant issue. Did you guys see that? Where, like, enchants hadn't been reduced to the correct level, so in having a weapon that was enchanted with an enchant that didn't get squished was actually put you into God mode. And another thing was like the Mage Tower didn't correctly integrate with all the squishes. So some people were just running Mage Tower. And now all this shit got patched out, but people for at least a couple of days did Mage Tower as if they were gods. Completed that shit in 2 seconds. If you missed it, you missed it.
The upgrade will cost half the stones and no crests. And if it's an alt, you'll get the half stone cost, but also you'll get a discount on the crests.
Yeah, system squishes always have
working, but on another level, the upgrades just aren't going through. Now, apparently Blizzard have fixed this, but I don't think they really have, because even after the fix, we could trade ruined crests all the way up to gilded crests, which shouldn't have been possible, and it actually turned out that the UI was showing the wrong costs and was actually failing. And then once we had the true, 15, it actually worked. So basically, it's all a bit weird, the UI's a bit broken, but if you got those achievements, I guess go and grab your free upgrades. But there's some people who maybe came out even better, because if you were very lucky, you could buy myth-track warglaives
for gold
for just under 400 gold.
Yeah, I saw this.
They were supposed to cost cartel chips, but for some reason they cost 400 gold from the vendor. So that's all a bit weird, but hey, it's pre-patch. Does anyone really care about gearing up their character for War Within content?
Nah.
Maybe you want to level up, and maybe you're leveling a new Void Elf Devourer DH, or something like that. Well, if you are, you'll find even more oversights.
Beware of the eyes of green.
If you've played Devourer, you will notice that Blizzard went all out. Every icon...
Yeah, Devour's, I think a lot of people, though, have been saying it's not hitting as hard as they wanted to, but for the most part of what I've heard is, like, Devourer seems pretty fun to play. I don't know if anyone in chat's actually playing a Devour Demon Hunter. I haven't made one. I don't plan on making one. But for the most part, I think it's a good class, but it's not hitting as hard as most people have seen, like, a new spec hit. Because usually they come in kind of broken, and I feel like this one's a bit... maybe they came in a little bit too soft. They nerfed it a bit. I'm guessing these things will get pumped up and their numbers will get brought up to what is expected. But for now, it just seems like they're not hitting as hard as people thought they would. Besides that, everyone else's classes, there's some ones rocking right now. For sure. There's class nerfs coming in, I think, this week, though.
Icon is redesigned in Cosmic Blue. All your Demon Hunter spells are voidified. Your Vengeful Retreat, Chaos Nova, Fellblade, even your wings. Except for the most iconic Demon Hunter thing, the glowing eyes.
Yeah, it's an oversight.
Every bit of green has been eradicated, but there's just no void eye customization. And if that was the only problem, well, that would just be one thing. But it's actually not. You see, Demon Hunters use swords, fist weapons, axes, and warglaives, but finding those with any intellect on them in older content is nearly impossible. And if you think heirlooms will save you, you'd be mistaken. There is no int sword, axe, or glaive. There are 0 options. A max level Devourer is fine, brilliant even, but they clearly didn't put any thought into leveling one, which is odd. I mean, Void Elf Demon Hunters are the hot new thing. And with that being the case, surely there's no way that they, I don't know, randomly end up with Blood Elf underwear. Whoops, I guess. It's also mismatching Blood Elf underwear, which is a little bit strange. And
Void Elves with Blood Elf underwear is certainly a betrayal.
And you can't change it because Void Elves
don't
have any underwear options.
Of undergarments.
That's a factoid that I truly forgot. And there's another thing with classes. It's a bit out there, but every druid's cosmetic tree form now uses the new Haranir one for some reason.
What?
And you can't even change it at the barber because the tree ant form doesn't support that yet. Little bit weird. Probably ancient code. And speaking of ancient code related problems, oh boy, we have to talk about the stat squish.
Okay, he might mention the Mage Tower here.
You've just heard that player housing is coming, and because of that, you've decided to pick up World of Warcraft. You want to be ready, so you start leveling a human warrior around Elwyn. The potion drops, and then you see this. Minor healing potion. Heals for 0.
Nice.
That's not really what we call a squish.
Pretty minor.
That is a stat flattened.
We have a realm to destroy.
Harry Beasted, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our skirt.
Basically, tons of low-level items are now literally
They do
useless.
nothing.
Starter food heals you for 0 right now. It's so bizarre. PC Gamer posted a whole article about it, which I guess is fun. And obviously, this doesn't really matter for gameplay. Recuperate is the new ability that everyone has that just heals you HP on a percentage basis. So you don't need those potions at low levels. It's not like the low-level content is particularly challenging. It's just completely absurd. I mean, it does feel like we're not even...
That looks like Sam. For real? You're going to say this looks like me right now? Come on. Come on. This can't be me. For one reason, it's too much hair. Too much hair. Unfortunate.
Levels. It's not like the low-level content is particularly challenging. It's just completely absurd. I mean, it does feel like we're not even pretending that leveling is a real game anymore. Now, I understand the problem. Imagine WoW's stats as if there were never any squishes. We would probably be doing billions of damage right now.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that means when you squish everything down, those very low-level things could actually just be squished so hard they literally do nothing.
Right.
But I don't think that's a very intuitive experience for players. Well, that's not the only stat squish thing. It's also made certain content quite a bit harder. So, time-walking dungeons have now got real health right now. Mobs actually survive more than a single global cooldown, which is rather shocking. Now, the XP still does feel fine, but they do last long enough to now actually feel like, well, a real dungeon.
Take effort.
But on the other hand, here's a screenshot of Queen Ansarek with 1,300 health. So she's not been doing so good. That has been fixed, but it makes you wonder what's going on with their numbers behind the curtain. There's also the mage tower.
It's got to be so hard, man, to like stat squish everything properly in a 20-plus-year-old game. There's just so many things that are going to break because of it. So I don't blame them. You know, okay, health potion that gets squished to zero. Well, if you're squishing everything that was thousands into the hundreds on the top end of the game, on the back end, you're gonna have something that was like healing for 5. How do you scale that properly so it's not at 0? Because that's clearly what happened, is these really small numbers went to 0 when everything at the top end got squished. It's a tough assignment, I'm not gonna lie, something I wouldn't want to be part of.
It was extremely easy for a brief period, but
what's your favorite?
Have the priority straight, so they fixed up that one real quick. Overall then, stat squishes are always messy. This is absolutely one of them. They're always a shambles. Pre-patch jitters are kind of nothing new. But do you know what is new? A new feature that's completely missing its ship date. Like, literally missing.
What?
In WoW player housing, there are 3 kinds of neighborhoods: guild, public, and charter. Guild and public make a lot of sense. Live with your guild, live with strangers. But then there's charter neighborhoods. Those are private ones where you don't need a guild. And Prepatch was supposed to turn them on. Just that it didn't turn them on. Now, Blizzard explained why. Basically, they broke.
Yeah.
Specifically, in
they're on now, though. We just read the patch notes today. You can make a charter neighborhood now.
Endeavors would not start in charter neighborhoods, so because of that, they've delayed the feature. We don't know when it's going to launch, but I can't imagine it will be too long. Now, also speaking of endeavors, those aren't really going that well either. Our guild picked the Consortium one for all of that sweet ethereal decor, and immediately we were taken aback. The Endeavor wasn't just a coat of paint. It also came with a jumping puzzle, hidden items, NPCs that would properly visit our place, plus a portal to Netherstorm to clear out Consortium bosses and farm mobs. And you know what?
Sounds
it's kind of cool. You farm up some old content, you get some new stuff for your house, all pretty good. But the problem is this bar. You've probably experienced it too. The bar goes up very, very slowly. Some giant public neighborhoods have got nobody helping, which basically means bar's never going up, and people are just locked out of decor.
I think the one for our guild is pretty damn low right now, I'm not going to lie. I saw people contributing to it, which is good, and maybe I'll look at it again today when we log in, but last Friday when I was looking at it, we were still pretty behind.
And even our guild neighborhood is struggling because some of the tasks are daily, and not all of us want to run the same jumping puzzle daily or farm Burning Crusade mobs for hours on end, especially whenever your personal contribution is so tiny that it, at times, doesn't even visibly shift the bar. Now, from what I understand, Blizzard have a system where, on a month-to-month basis, if, say, a neighborhood is just really quite inactive,
we just hit our first milestone.
The next time there's an endeavor, the bar is easier to fill up. right? And that's because maybe a lot of people would be there at the launch of an expansion, but 6 months in, people would drop off. And
Right, it's supposed to scale with population and the number of people actively doing shit in your neighborhood. So maybe the scaling system needs to be scaled a little bit harder.
they want that stuff to scale. Obviously, though, the way that it's shipped on day one is not exactly great. Though there is a positive to this, and that is them using the old world. So for the scaled up Outland, it's actually pretty cool. I mean, farming Sun Fury mobs in Netherstorm is no longer the usual TBC insta-kill.
Yeah, we did the one that takes you back to Pandaria. That's the one I picked. I kind of wish I picked this one. This one looks cool. I'd rather go back to Netherstorm. But either way, it is cool that they're using old world content again. And if you guys remember, I was doing the Endeavor and saying that exactly. I was like, oh, I love this. They're taking us back to old world content. Don't forget, the Arcantina that's coming with Midnight. That cross-faction like inn where you'll be able to pick up a weekly quest. There's going to be like people who wander in from all over Azeroth, these quest givers, and they'll be taking you back to old Azeroth, doing old world content shit. So I'm really excited for that, because I think anytime they go back to the old world shit, you got 20 plus years in this game with a lot of really cool stuff to go see. I think it's a good use of the game. And I think Azeroth is being emphasized once again as, like, honestly, the main part of the game. It is. The world is the thing that everyone fell in love with. So it's good to see that they're using it again.
Mobs just die as soon as you look at them. No, they're scaled up to level 80, and it does mean that even this 20-year-old content does feel a tiny bit real.
You can also visit your friend's neighborhood to buy stuff from their vendors. That's true. If somebody else that you know, their neighborhood picked a different vendor, Endeavor, you can go buy shit from their neighborhood.
So
you just got to get those Endeavor ticket things.
Hopefully over time, they can do more and more with these scaled up zones. But for now, Blizzard, please fix the Endeavors. I mean, there's no visible progress number because it's supposed to scale with neighborhood activity, but it just doesn't feel like your efforts really do that much. And even when people do try, it just seems the bar fills up real slow. First impressions count. I know that this is a system designed for the long term, but that long term is going to be hurt if people have a bad first impression. So that's most of what went wrong. There, of course, was more. Buggy UIs, Lua errors, even when people didn't have add-ons installed. A fun thing where Outland was just totally missing textures for a bit. Just all sorts of complete nonsense. Generally, that is what a pre-patch can do. I think this one is a little bit more rough than most. But I have to be realistic with you. Blizzard should have most of this cleaned up within a week or so. At least the buggy stuff.
Yeah, they've cleaned up a lot of it.
Maybe not the rest. We'll have to see if any design fixes come in there. I think the situation with the Devourer customizations is honestly just silly. They really need to get on that. But anyway, while they're working on that,
that'd just be like a little color scale thing they can do.
Add-on setups and key bindings for this new pruned era, so come back soon for that. And after this video, if you want to get started on your own UI, at least by fixing some of the genuinely horrible defaults Blizzard decided to troll you with, the good news is you can watch this video next.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff's already been fixed, and they're continuing to fix things. They are reacting quickly, but we all could have seen this coming. There's some big changes in this patch. A lot of the class changes, obviously all the UI changes, removal of add-on stuff, and then a lot of these new features. Of course, many things broken, but they're getting them fixed. Nice video from Bellular.